Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and recently I got the privilege to spend the afternoon with Michael Bell. Some of you will remember the old Super Friends cartoon, which featured the Wonder Twins. Well, Michael was the voice of both Zan and Gleek. That cartoon also featured a Phantom Zone villain named Rom-Lok, who was also voiced by Michael Bell. So we decided to run this game as a sort of a tribute to him and the characters that he played. It's also worth noting that when my kids were little, they loved the Wonder Twins. My son would pretend to be Zan, and my daughter would pretend to be Jaina. And they'd run around the house saying, Wonder Twin powers activate. And my daughter would say, form of a gorilla, or something along those lines. And my son would say, shape of a baseball bat made of ice. So, because of all of that, they were both very excited to meet Mr. Bell on Father's Day. Anyways, before we get into it, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and leave us a comment. That helps us out on our end with the YouTube algorithm, but also we love to hear from you guys. We've got an awesome community here, and that's thanks to you. So thank you so much for being here. So, all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to today's story takes place in the dimension known as Earth K, where Rom-Lok is freed from the Phantom Zone. Rom-Lok makes his way to Earth where he goes on a rampage. He fights various superheroes, but thus far, nobody can go toe to toe with the evil Kryptonian. And that brings us to the main plot of today's tale. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Zan, played by Michael Bell, and Jaina, played by my daughter, are standing in the main room where a huge computer takes up an entire wall. Gleek is trying to juggle, and he's actually pretty good for a blue space ape. The Wonder Twins are watching him with an amused look on their face when the trouble alert goes off. Jaina presses some buttons, and then the wall-sized main view screen displays Rom-Lok's rampage. So the Wonder Twins get in a flying vehicle called a Javelin and hurry to the scene. Once there, they leap into action. So in real life, my daughter at this convention we were at recently and Michael Bell fist bump and say, Wonder Twin powers activate. And Michael Bell says, shape of a bucket of water, which Gleek the monkey then carries around for the rest of the adventure. But my daughter says, form of a Kryptonian, because her power is that she can transform into any life form, real or imaginary, including life forms from other planets. And this trick, turning into a Kryptonian, was actually something she did in the comics at least once. So, because of this, Jaina and Rom-Lok are then able to fight on equal terms. It's also worth noting at this point that we didn't roll the dice at the convention for this particular scenario. We did that when we got home. That is typically the way we handle this sort of thing is we go to the convention, we ask the celebrity, what would you like your character to do, which is usually some character they've played in the past on screen. And then when we go home, then I run that character as an NPC and have them do whatever the celebrity wanted them to do, which was the case with this fight. And come to think of it, we might actually need a new term for something between a player character and a non player character to reflect this kind of weird in between state, something like maybe a GM assisted PC, something like that. Anyways, so we rolled initiative, and Jaina went on 55, while Rom-Lok went on 51. So Jaina got to go first. She attacked Rom-Lok, just throwing a punch. She rolled a 6 and a 7, which hit, doing 20 points of damage. So Rom-Lok's body goes from being 40 APs all the way down to 20 APs. So then it's his turn to attack. He rolls a 2 and a 4, which is a miss. So he swings, but Jaina just naturally gets out of the way with her normal dexterity. On Jaina's turn, she decides to throw another punch. She rolls a 10 and a 5, which hits, doing 22 points of damage, which normally would take the Phantom Zoner down to having a body of -2, but Jaina declared knockout damage only. So Rom-Lok is just knocked out. And since in DC Heroes, a round is 4 seconds long, that means it only took Jaina 8 seconds to defeat a Phantom Zoner by herself. That's pretty cool. And then that brings us to the epilogue. After that, we see the Wonder Twins back at the Hall of Justice. And we said that the computer at the Hall of Justice also worked as a viewer that allowed them to check up on Rom-Lok. And there at the end of the adventure, he's back in the Phantom Zone again. He says he'll get his revenge against the Wonder Twins and their stupid monkey, too. And Jaina says if he does come back, they'll be ready for him, which felt like a fitting end to a Wonder Twin story to us. This one was very short, but that's how it goes when we meet a celebrity at a convention. And to me, at least, the point of this was not to run a long game session. For me, the best part was watching Michael Bell fist bump my daughter and say Wonder Twins activate. I think for her, that was a core memory, and it was for sure one of the coolest experiences she's ever had at a convention. So because of that, we really liked this one. And as always, we hope that you liked hearing about it. If you did, consider clicking that like button. Make sure you're subscribed and be sure to leave us a comment. And from all of us here at the longest running superhero role-playing game on Earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.